Daniel only went to the farmer's market to escape the quiet of his apartment. Saturday mornings had become the hardest since the divorce. The silence felt heavier when the world outside seemed so alive. The market near the river was busy with families, music, and rows of fresh fruit glowing in the sun. People laughed, children ran between stalls, and the smell of baked bread filled the air. Daniel thought a simple walk might clear his head. He stopped at a honey stand, studying the jars without really seeing them. His mind was somewhere else, drifting to memories he tried not to visit anymore. 2 years had passed since Emily left, yet some wounds still ached when he wasn't paying attention. Then he heard a laugh. It was soft and warm, like a memory coming back to life. His heart tightened. Slowly he turned. Margaret stood a few steps away, holding a small basket of peaches, Emily's mother. The woman who had once welcomed him into her family like her own son. Time had added silver to her hair, but her eyes were the same, kind, thoughtful, and full of feeling. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The noise of the market faded, leaving only the sound of Daniel's heartbeat. Daniel, said quietly, as if afraid he might disappear. Yes, he replied, Margaret. They smiled in that awkward way people do when the past suddenly shows up. I didn't expect to see you here, she said. Me neither. A pause settled between them, heavy but not cold. How have you been? She asked. Daniel shrugged, getting by. Some days are easier than others. Margaret nodded, understanding. Too well. I know. They began walking slowly through the roses stands. Flowers, bread, vegetables, handmade candles, life happening all around them while they carried years of shared history in silence. Margaret told him Emily had moved across the country for work. New city, new start. Daniel felt a sharp ache, but forced a calm smile. I hope she's happy. I think she is, Margaret said softly. She needed change. They reached a small bench near a flower stall filled with bright sunflowers and roses. They sat. For a while, they watched people pass. I always hated how things ended, Margaret finally said. You were good to Emily. You tried. I want you to know that. Daniel swallowed hard. I loved her. I loved your family too. Losing that was the hardest part. Margaret looked down at her hands. After my husband passed, the house became so quiet, and when you and Emily separated, it felt like another loss. Daniel studied her face and saw loneliness there, the same kind he carried every night. I'm sorry you went through that, he said. She placed her hand gently on his arm. The touch was simple, comforting, but it sent a strange warmth through him. Their eyes met. For a second, the world slowed. It wasn't wrong, it wasn't planned, it just happened. Margaret quickly pulled her hand back, surprised by her own reaction. We shouldn't be feeling things like this, she whispered. Daniel nodded, though his heart raced. I know, but neither of them moved away. A breeze passed, lifting Margaret's hair across her face. Without thinking, Daniel reached up and brushed it aside. Their fingers touched briefly. Both inhaled sharply. I'm sorry, Daniel said. No, it's all right, Margaret replied, though her voice trembled. Silence wrapped around them again, different now, charged with something new. I never thought I'd see you again, Margaret said. Part of me's glad I did. Daniel smiled faintly. Me too. They talked more about work, about the town, about how strange life feels when everything changes. Laughter slowly returned. Soft but real. For the first time in years, Daniel didn't feel alone. The sun shifted higher in the sky, and the market grew busier. I should go, Margaret said reluctantly. Daniel stood with her. Yes, of course. They walked toward the parking lot. At her car, Margaret hesitated. Daniel, she said, taking a breath, would you like to get coffee sometime? Just to talk. His heart skipped. I'd like that, he answered honestly. She smiled, warm and nervous at the same time. Good. As she drove away, Daniel stood there, stunned. He had come for apples. He left with his life quietly changing direction. Because in one unexpected moment, the past had returned. Not to hurt him, but to awaken feelings he never imagined possible. And deep down, he knew this meeting was only the beginning of something far more complicated than either of them were ready for. Something that could heal them. Or break everything. All over again. And as the market noise rose around him once more, Daniel realized his calm life had just started to spiral into something new.